Hi, this is Linda West with Living Live, and I'm excited today to introduce to you Clinton Senkow. Now, Clinton is the co-founder and chief operating officer of Influencive, an online platform that teaches and inspires millions of people around the world every month around business and entrepreneurship. He is also the VP of partnerships at ShipChain, which is a startup disrupting the shipping and logistics industry within blockchain technology. We're going to touch on that just a little bit in a minute. And most recently, he's been working alongside blockchain-based companies using his knowledge in marketing, growth, and PR to help build the ecosystem and increase further adoption of the industry and its technology. He was named a Forbes Can't Miss speaker in 2017 and has been featured in Inc., Forbes, the Huffington Post, CTV, Good Men Project, Mashable, and several other top media outlets. In addition to that, he's a contributing writer for the Huffington Post, Mogul, TechNode, Thrive, Global, and Influencive. Welcome, Clinton. I'm so excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm pumped to be here.
Oh, let's do it. You know, we're going to talk about Influencive, but I also want to talk about just a little bit about blockchain and cryptocurrency. But let's start with Influencive. How did you guys come up with the idea, or why did you come up with the idea? And then what made you decide to do it? Because, you know, putting stuff like that into action, it takes a lot of thought. So how did it come about?
Yeah, so in terms of Influencive, so it was actually started from my partner, so our founder CEO Brian. Brian D. Evans is a very well-renowned entrepreneur. He was an Inc. 500 entrepreneur in 2015. He had the 25th fastest growing marketing and advertising company in the U.S. He's worked on multiple and consulted on top 10 apps in the App Store right now, drove tens of millions of downloads. He's done really great things. You know, he's had an agency, worked in business and entrepreneurship for the last, 15 or so years. And so he's actually had the domain Influencive for about 5-6 years, and he didn't do anything with it. So he bought the domain, and one thing that he started to see online early, and this was, probably about 3-4 years ago, was the fact that there was all these other media outlets and websites that were publishing all these articles. And what they were publishing is they were publishing articles from journalists writing about business and entrepreneurship. These weren't actually entrepreneurs, founders, business owners, the people that were in the trenches actually writing about, their success, their failures, their tips, their tricks, or whatever. So something that he kind of decided to do is he started to face one of his fears, which at the time, one of his fears was writing. And so he basically started Influencive as a personal blog. And so it essentially started as, taking that knowledge from inside Brian's head and kind of just putting it out there for the world and seeing, who wants it or who likes it and who enjoys it. And so once he started to do that, he started to see that he started to kind of build that following. And this was kind of early stages with the whole influencer movement. And he just really saw that being super, super important moving forward. So so he just started writing himself, taking, all of his business experience and everything that he's experienced and just started to write about it. And I came into the picture, and the way that we like to say it is, Influencive was essentially started around 2 years ago now. So just a little bit over 2 years ago. And I came into the picture in about 2-3 months after Brian kind of was focusing on it more, more full time. And he was looking to add some more writers to the platform. And essentially, I joined I started writing, and after about 2 articles, I just saw the potential in the brand. I just loved the name. I loved the vision that we had. I liked that our content was totally different than that other stuff that was out there. Mm-hmm. And then I also just saw just the holes and just really the skills that I could bring to the team and help take this, this brand and everything that we had to the next level. So, right around that time, that's when Brian and I sat down and we got together and we decided to partner. And we've been two of the main driving forces behind the brand today. And we've grown a lot in our first 2 years. And it's still crazy to think that it's only 2 years, but we still have so much more that we can do and that we want to do with the brand and with our community. Mm-hmm. But essentially, it's just, we really wanted to build a platform, an area that for people to come to get wisdom, whether it's on business, entrepreneurship, success, blockchain. We have a blockchain section now. So, we really wanted to really build that home base for people to come to with content from writers and a brand that they trust. You know, a lot of it's not fluff. A lot of it is real. It's real life stuff that people are sharing, and you know, we just really wanted to be different, and so ever since I joined the picture, we've been able to grow the brand immensely, and you know, here I am chatting with you on your show today, and really excited to head out to the event in San Diego, and you know, just kind of share some more of my thoughts and my insights and everything with everybody there.
Well, you know, I have a couple questions, because when you were talking, well, one is, before you address this question, because I'm going to ask you two questions right now. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, how did he come up with Influencive? Because I know you were talking about influencers, and I saw on your blog or your website, it says influencer, it's crossed out, and it says Influencive. So that's one of the questions. But the other question is, does he like writing now?
Yeah, so funny thing is, so Brian faced one of his fears early, and this is funny because him and I both have similar stories. So Brian was kind of, you know, kind of working in the background, always was a very successful person in business, but he was always kind of in the background. And then with Influencive, he said, hey, like, I'm going to switch that. And, you know, I'm going to be in front of it. I'm going to be the face of the brand. I'm going to work on my personal brand. You know, it's super, super important. You know, I'm going to face my fears. I'm going to, you know, make videos, even though I might not like making videos, or, you know, I'm going to write more articles. And yeah, Brian writes, has columns on all the top websites out there, Forbes, Inc., Entrepreneur, Huffington Post, you name it. After he started writing for Influencive and started, you know, sharing it and getting all this traffic and getting all this attention, all these other, you know, platforms wanted him to write. Is essentially what it is. So he's 100% writing and enjoys writing just like myself. And my story was, I had like a 52 in English in grade 12 English. I hated writing, didn't like it at all. You couldn't have paid me to write anything. And nowadays here I am, loving writing, carving time out of my day, you know, to actually physically, you know, write. And I enjoy it, and, you know, helping manage and edit and articles, and, you know, getting more contributors and writing for other platforms. So it's something that we both have somehow transitioned into, that we probably both wouldn't have guessed that we would be. And then in terms of the name Influencive, so I honestly don't really know how he came up with it. Just so you know, and for everyone listening and tuning in, is, so Influencive actually is a word in the dictionary, and it actually means tend to be influential. Okay, so basically think of influencive and influential meaning the exact same thing. So if you are an influencive person, you're an influential person, essentially, is a real simple way to kind of think of that. So influencive is an actual word. It's in the dictionary. You can search it, Google it, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It was just available when he came across it, and I'm happy that he decided to swipe it when he did.
I like it. Maybe it's actually in the dictionary because of the magazine.
No, I think it was in there before, but maybe. Who knows?
You never know, right? Because we'd have to look at the etymology of it and stuff. Well, it's interesting, is I too have never really been into writing, but I was a proofreader for 25 years. But, you know, so reading stuff and writing is so different. And you know, now I'm the editor of the magazine, Life by Design magazine. And so it's interesting how some of that stuff that you're really not interested, sometimes it comes around. Because, you know, facing that fear, they asked me if I wanted to be the editor, and I was like, okay. So, but it's a lot of fun. I never imagined in my life that I would be an editor of a magazine. But it
that's cool.
Been a lot of fun. So let's talk about just a little bit about ShipChain, what that is, and is it a national coin, or is it a project? Is it a company? What is ShipChain?
Yeah, so what ShipChain is essentially what we're doing is we're building a unified platform, a track and trace platform across the entire supply chain using blockchain technology. So right now, one of the hugest problems you know, in the world is that over $60 billion of cargo go missing every year. You know, around the world, like, meaning that, hey, 12 shipments come in, 10 shipments go out. Where do those 2 go? Someone stole them. They went missing, whatever, because a lot of, in the shipping and logistics and freight industry, there's a lot of paper ledgers that are being kept right now. There's still paper pen. Nothing is very computerized. It's an industry that honestly has not been advancing with technology at the rate that the technology advances it with. And with blockchain technology and all the attention you know, that's been on it over the last few years, it's really one of the, honestly, blockchain and supply chain is one of the best use cases out there in recent history. And so we're one of the companies that's, going to be leading that charge. We wanted to, disrupt it. It's $1 trillion industry. Shipping and logistics is $1 trillion, it's a T, not a B.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very big industry. And you just gotta kind of stop and think about it. Is basically everything around you and I right now, anyone who's listening to this, everything. It doesn't matter if it's a carton of milk or a pencil or a desk or a chair. Everything is shipped at one point. Everything is put on a truck, or it's put on a ship, or it's transported to wherever you are at one point, right? And so there's a real big need to have that track and trace platform that is more secure, that's more transparent, and that really helps secure people's goods. Because if you can know where your good is, if from the manufacturer in China all the way through the supply chain to the customer on the customer's door, that's unified. Because the way that we're doing it, I guess, just to kind of simplify it as well, is so with blockchain, one of the biggest advantages out there right now is the use of smart contracts. So with smart contracts, what it does is it's going to be basically contracts is going to get rid of all the middlemen and brokers in basically any industry out there right now. That's the way that I see it. It's still very early, but essentially by using computer code and smart contracts, you're going to be able to get funds a lot faster. Things are more secure, and things are going to be way more efficient. So basically through our platform we'll be securing shipments using smart contracts. So as soon as that customer, as soon as the shipment lands on the customer's door or wherever it is, their garage, whatever they got, that payment will actually be released right away through that smart contract to to the customer, to the to the receiver, to the shipper, to whatever intermediary gets that payment. Rather than, waiting 30 days, waiting 60 days. How are you going to pay? Are you going to pay through credit card? Are you going to pay through cash? Are you going to pay through check? Or, maybe the dollar, or maybe the money is counterfeit. You don't know. It's, there's so many different things out there that just are crazy variables. So that's one of the, there's many different holes in the freight and logistics industry that we, with our platform, we really want to help make it more secure, more transparent, more efficient. But kind of, I guess, the stage of where we are with ShipChain is we closed our it's a token, so we closed our token sale, our main token sale and pre-sale in the same week a couple weeks ago, and we're
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We raised $30 million, and we're ready to just kind of get out there and get the name out there and start disrupting the industry, like I said.
Well, when are you expecting it to go public?
So everything's been in development for the last few months.
Okay.
So the platform's already been developing for a few months now. And in the next weeks to months, there'll be more and more developments as we kind of move along. Our website is ShipChain.io. We have a really big engaged Telegram group as well. We have one of the fastest growing Telegram groups. We have over close to 40,000 people within our Telegram group within the last about 3-4 weeks. So we're fast growing there as well. So if anyone is interested in what's the latest, the information, what's happening, because there's certain things that we can talk about and there's certain things that we can't talk about.
Right.
So that's where the best thing is to kind of stay in touch with what we're doing, whether it's through social, whether it's through our email list, or whether it's in our Telegram group. And
that's to go to the ShipChain.io. Is that the best?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ShipChain.io is our website, and it'll kind of take you to our Telegram group. It'll take you to any of our social media outlets. It'll show you all the different types of team members. We have a rock star team. We have a A-list team. We have former Shark Tank investor Kevin Harrington is one of our advisors. We have partnerships with Purdue Farms, which is a really big agri-food business out of the U.S. We have some really great people involved in the project. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about that and to be involved with ShipChain, and we're all just really excited to kind of hit the ground running and really have an amazing 2018.
Well, that's exciting. Congratulations. I want to go back to Influencive and how does a person submit an article to that? Or as far as the blockchain articles, how are you looking for specific types of people to put articles? Because blockchain is a little different than entrepreneurship, right?
So
I mean,
this is the thing, yeah. Blockchain and entrepreneurship are a little bit different, except not really, because
yeah, it's kind of a,
there's all these entrepreneurs and business owners, that are coming out with these tokens, whether some of them are good or whether some of them are bad, or
right.
some of them make sense and some of them don't make sense. So in terms of blockchain, in the content that we're looking for is, you don't have to be like the most technical person with blockchain. You definitely have to know what blockchain technology is. You need to know, what does cryptocurrency mean? What are the fundamentals of blockchain? Like, you just have to be someone that is somewhat up to date with the industry. And just so everybody even knows too, is I wasn't an early adopter of blockchain technology. I'm not someone that, bought Bitcoin 8 years ago or something like that. I was someone that all of last year in 2017, I was told about blockchain technology probably about a year ago. And that's when I started to look into it and educate myself and read books and talk to people and connect with, the top people in the industry, and start to really see and do my own due diligence. Like, what is this? Like, what can this do? What is the potential that it has? And once I started to look more and more into things and had a few kind of light bulb moments go off, I was like, holy crap, like this is for real. Like, it's more to me than, hey, just about cryptocurrencies and what. It's me about the blockchain technology. And so I've had a few light bulb moments that have happened over the last year that really made me want to focus on this and see that, hey, this is definitely something that is going to be worth focusing on. And in terms of our writers, so the way that it works is we don't like to be like an outlet that it's like, hey, I just want to submit an article, publish it for us. Like, that's not what Influence is about. We say that you have to submit a certain number of articles per month, per week? No. Do we tear apart your articles and say, this sucks, this is good, I like this article, can you change this, can you change that? For the most part, no. We want to keep it in your voice. There's, some things that we don't ever publish. We don't ever publish anything about, politics or religion. None of that stuff has anything to do with anything that Influencive is all about. But for the most part, we want to let our writers have their voice, and we don't want to change that. And so we look for more writers that, doesn't necessarily mean has to be a consistent basis, but we're not looking for writers saying, hey, create an account for me. And then it's, hey, I just want to put an article on your site because you guys get all these, hundreds of thousands and millions of readers per month. So, it's just going to benefit me. When it's like, if you look at this as, hey, like, this is a really great opportunity to, create my personal brand, to bring more exposure to my business and my projects and my ventures that I'm working on, and maybe providing value to others, you'll see this as a big win in the long run. And that's what I try to look for. So I'm not necessarily saying like you have to write twice a month. It's more of like, hey, you see this as like whatever over a course of a year, like you're going to write 5 articles or 6 articles or whatever, rather than kind of like a one-off article, if that makes sense.
It sure does. Thank you. And then what do you see as the next step for Influencive?
So one of the things that I've started to notice is we've really built a really massive cult-like following on Influencive. We're very, very thankful for our for our community and for our writers. We have over close to 400 writers now from around the world that contribute content to us. We have about 1.3 million social followers across various accounts. And one thing that we haven't done to date is in 2018 here, I'm going to be working more around having more in-person style events. I would like to have more, meetup style stuff, mastermind style stuff, maybe an annual conference or an event or a summit or something. But I definitely want to have more in-person connections with our community to really take things to the next level. Because I think we've all been connected or, had calls or messages and, shared each other's articles over the last few years, but we haven't really been able to kind of build those connections with as many people as I want in person. So if we can really create an amazing experience and bring people together from the community, I think that would be really, really awesome. So that's something that I'm really working on here in 2018, and something that, kind of the next stages of Influencive as we continue to grow. But on top of that, it's continuing to reach more people, keep continuing to grow, find more partners, find more people that, want a platform that they can write for, that they feel good about. And yeah, so that's kind of, I guess, the focus for 2018.
I can totally see a great, 3-day event kind of thing that you guys throw together, bringing in all those influencives. And that's awesome. I love it. I love it. You'll bring it to San Diego, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. It's nice weather, so
It is.
I'll take it.
Well, no, so now, Brian addressed one of his fears. So have you had any fears that you've had to face throughout this process at all?
Oh, I've had so many different fears. I don't know. I've always been someone that I try to live my life with no regrets. That's honestly one of the biggest things. Words of advice that I try to give people is you only live once. If you fail, you fail. Whatever, at least you attempted something, which is great. I don't think you should just attempt something just for saying, I tried and, half-ass it and, only give 50%. Whatever you do, you should always try and give it your all. But some things don't work out and you got to learn from them. So I've definitely had, over the years of being an entrepreneur, I've had many times where, I haven't selected the right clients. I learned from that, from, bargaining to, lowering your prices to, doing many different things that if you don't hold yourself accountable, you don't see yourself, if you don't have your worth, it's really, you're almost like kind of short-sighting yourself, and you're really almost creating more work for yourself, I find. And I found that, when you surround yourself with the right people, great things happen. And if you continue to just kind of keep persevering and keep going, good things will happen. And that's just kind of a testament to myself, because I grew up a high-level hockey player my whole life. I was someone that had back-to-back surgeries when I was 15 and 16, one on my knee and one on my wrist. I could have quit playing hockey. I could have said, hey, this sport isn't for me. I just continue to get injured. But instead I said, you know what, like I need to keep going. I need to keep persevering. And I continue to play. I played junior A hockey across Canada for 3 years. I got a hockey scholarship in Canada where I played for 4 years, got my business degree, and so many other things have led from that. And I owe a lot of the skills and the mindset and everything that I get into that I'm using in business today from sports, from playing team sports, from playing hockey. So in terms of like fears myself that I've faced, it's just more I don't know, just really taking as much as I can that comes my way and learning from everything as I go, because I'm still, young. I don't call myself an expert in, everything out there. I want to still hone in on my skills and focus on the areas that I'm really good at. And so really just kind of facing that fear and saying, hey, like I can't do everything and everything at once. It's more of, hey, can I have a little bit more focus? I think is really important. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that kind of, answers a little bit of your question. But I guess I'm not really a scared person, but I just like to take things on and take advantage of opportunities that come my way. And if they work out, great. If they don't, move on and learn from it.
That's great. What would you attribute your stickability, to stick with something? Because, like you say, breaking the arm and you said wrist, I think. What made you persevere? Like what was that drive in you that made you want to keep going?
Yeah, I honestly don't even know. I'm the youngest of 5 kids.
Okay.
I have older brothers that have played hockey before. They were high levels. I don't know. I just, at that time in my life, hockey was the only thing I knew. Sports was my life. And that was the main thing that I did. I had, for 7 years of my life, for about 7, 8 years of my life, I had hockey 8 months out of the year, 5-6 days a week. I'd get 3-4 months off in the summer, and that's what I did. I didn't have weekends off in October, November, December, any of those times. I didn't have any freedom to do that. And I just feel like when I had those surgeries, I wanted to prove people wrong. I think there's always people that are going to put you down. There's always people that are going to say that you can't do something or you can't achieve something, or they're going to get jealous, whatever it is. And I don't know. I just think at that early age, I was thankful for that, and the way that I looked at it. And this is something that I think is consistent with people that have really reached some sorts of success. Is they use a bad experience as a positive experience. They turn it upside down. And the way that I see it is, I basically told myself, as I was happy that I had those surgeries, I was happy that I had those injuries early on in my career, rather than later on in my career. And some might have seen that as a downfall because, I didn't get drafted to the WHL. I didn't, I got pushed back a little bit more because I wasn't as good as some other players my age. But at the time when I got injured, I was, one of the top of my age, in my city, in my province, as a hockey player. And so it kind of pushed me back, and I had to work my way back up to be, an elite player. And ultimately I did that. And, I was thankful for it. It teaches me that drive that I've been able to bring into entrepreneurship, that, if something fails tomorrow, or if Influencive, something happens to it, I still have so much more that I can draw upon. I have tons of experience, I have tons of contacts, lots of different things that I can draw upon to really start from somewhere, rather than just be like, oh, what the heck am I going to do now?
I love it. Those life lessons, right? They're so valuable, and to take them, through your entire life. That's fantastic. Totally. Well, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I love what you're doing. I can't wait to see you at the Massive Success Breakthrough event, meet you in person, and give you a big old hug.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to come down. And because I'm up in Canada, it's cold, so I'm ready to come somewhere warm, and so I'm really excited to just to connect with more people and provide some more insight, I guess, on my story and who I am, and just really provide value to others, and see how I can inspire others to really just keep going and really persevere and really achieve whatever it is that they want in life, because I'm someone that I believe that you can ultimately make your own luck. You can really create the life that you want to live. So if you keep working at it, and you surround yourself with the right people, and you do things the right way, I think good things will come your way. So I'm definitely excited to come down and meet everybody and have some fun.
And then people can get in contact with you through the Influencive website, or how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, I'm all over social media too. Whatever is easiest. I'm at Clinton Senkow, just my name on anything from Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, Influencive. I'm also on there as well. I have my different column. But yeah, feel free to connect with me on anywhere. LinkedIn, honestly, doesn't really matter. Whatever is your social network of poison.
Poison. I love that. Yeah, sometimes I spend too many hours over there. So now, if somebody wants to submit an article to Influencive, I highly recommend you do it. If you're having any kind of fears around it, especially, just submit your article and see what happens. You never know. You might be published.
Exactly. No, that's exactly it. Honestly, everyone has to start somewhere. I said this last week even too. Is, if I go back and look, from 5 or 6 years ago, my first article that I ever written online, I would probably laugh at myself and be like, oh my gosh, that's actually how I wrote that, or like, this is what I said, or like, oh my gosh, that's such a terrible article, right? But it's like, that should be motivation for you, that everyone needs to start somewhere. Like, I was never a rock star writer. I'm not a journalist. I didn't, take communications in school. I found out, I figured it out. I learned from, top writers and people in the area. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if I can do that, having a 52, English in grade 12, you can do. So there's really no excuse of saying I can't write, or I'm not a good writer, because I used to not be a good writer either. So
yeah, because you're not going to become a better writer by not writing.
Exactly. You're just going to get better with more practice and more, implementation. So
yeah, I love it. Awesome. Well, again, I look forward to seeing you there, and thank you so much for this time. You have a wonderful day. Keep warm if you can. It's about 80 degrees here in San Diego today.
I just like to stay inside. I'm not allowed to go outside because I just don't want to. It's too cold, so I'm just going to stay inside.
And to think that you spent all those hours and hours on ice. On purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. This is true. Yeah, on purpose. I pretty much lived on the ice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. When we get a little bit older, we become a little more comfortable inside.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the interview, and I look forward to meeting everyone down in San Diego and meeting you as well.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Clinton. Have a great day.
You bet. Cheers.